Hello, welcome and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to move to Ireland. There are like pretty much a lot of ways you can definitely move to Ireland, but in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I moved to Ireland and what are the easiest way I think you can actually move to Ireland. Obviously, there's like different ways to do it, but I'm making this video for like non-EU citizens, which is like people that needs a visa to actually move to Ireland. First of all, the easiest way to move to Ireland is by studies, which I think majority of the people who are like non-EU citizens that I've met here, this is the way that they've done it. And the benefit is that in Ireland, you can move here as a student, and if you complete your studies, you get like a 2 years post-study visa to kind of like look for a job. And this doesn't have any kind of like restrictions. You can be looking for a job at the same time you can be working, and you don't necessarily need to like to stick to a job. You can do multiple jobs if you want. You can decide not to work if you want. You can even study during these 2 years, or maybe you need to do like some professional course or something like that. The only downside to this way of moving is that it's pretty expensive. Tuition fees probably cost like 10,000 and upwards, depending on the university and depending on the course. And aside from that, the proof of fund is also like something completely different. I'm not going to be like deep diving into that here in this video, but if you like me to talk about step by step on how to move as a student to Ireland, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Secondly, another way to move to Ireland is to move here by walk. This is how I move here, but I'm going to be sharing that with you also in a bit because you can totally go through this route in two different ways. Ireland has two different categories of work visa. There's the general work visa, which is like the general skills, which means that anybody could get it or anybody could apply for it. And there's another one which is called the critical skills visa, which is the one that I use. And this is the one where you need to be in a specific list to be eligible to get like this type of work permit. Now that we've break it down, let's talk about the general work permit and then we can talk about the critical skills. For the general work permit, these are like the jobs that anybody can actually do. It doesn't require you to have like a special skills. You just need to be able to like, fulfill your job role. For example, like customer service in this type of role or in this type of job, you don't necessarily need to have like a skill. You can, everything you need to do the job can be learned on the, like, can be taught to you during training when you start the job, right? So this is why this is like a general skills kind of like working permit. And when it comes to like critical skills, in this case, is that you have a selected kind of list, which is like specified for some different type of people, which means that you need to have a certain skills or you need your job needs to be like in the labor shortage, which means that they couldn't find enough people to actually fill this role in Ireland, and that's why they need people. They need to like outsource people from outside. They need to bring people from outside of the country to come and do this kind of jobs. And there are pros and cons to applying for both. First of all, let's start with the general work permit. The general work permit has the cons. I won't say there really is any pros to be honest with you because the critical skills supersede the general work permit, which is like so I won't say like there's any pros in this case, but there's just like a lot of cons in my opinion. And one of the cons is that you need to have, so if your company is applying for you, they need to do like a labor market assessment, which means that they need to have published that particular role in like Irish job seeking website. They need to have like advertised the role. They need to have like try to find people in the country before they can actually bring you from outside to come and fill that kind of particular job. And this is obviously hard for most companies. It's not like they don't want to do it, but it's just like the stress of doing it is just like way too much. And they can actually find people here to do that kind of job. So it's very rarely that you see people being brought into the country on a general work permit. I'm not saying that it's not possible. It is possible. I've met people that have this type of permit, but there's just like too many students graduating from schools and they have like open work permit to look for a job and they can fill whatever role. So why would a company bother to like to know like bring people from outside the country? So this is like pretty stressful for them. but it's possible to do. Another con is that you cannot bring your family with you at the same time when you are moving. So you need to have been in Ireland for at least a year to be able to bring your family with you, and you need to be making like some certain amount of money. I think the government just increased that to like 38,000 a year, just this January. So you can see what I mean by that. I think that those are the two cons which I can actually remember for the general work permit. And when it comes to like the critical skills, which is like the best one of the best one, which is kind of like supersede or kind of like work permit, is that first of all you can bring your family with you whenever you're moving. So you can bring your family and your dependent with you, which means that your wife in this case, or if you have kids in this case, you can totally bring them with you. In some cases you can actually bring your parents with you. I think they have to fall in some age bracket, but they will not be able to work. So you must be making some amount of money. I think you must be making over 70,000 to be able to do that. And just like the general work permit, the critical skills also have like its own like it has some rules or requirement that you need to follow. First of all, your job needs to be on the critical list, which means that your job cannot be filled by somebody here in Ireland. So that's why they need to bring you outside. But your company doesn't need to do any labor test or anything like that. They don't even need to advertise the job. As long as that job title falls in that category, you're allowed to apply for the work permit and then get the visa, and then you can move into the country. And another thing, which is the pros in this case, is that when you come into the country on the critical skills, you can actually become a permanent resident in 2 years, less than 2 years, 21 months to be precise, which is like super nice because you just know that you have to be on limbo for 21 months. You can switch your job, you can do whatever you want. You can switch your job if you want after a year, but you are tied to that company that brings you in initially for at least 1 year. But after that, you can do whatever you want, right? But it's just nice to have a job security, and just stick with a particular employer for like 2 years, get whatever you want to get, your permanent residence in this case, and then you can move on with your life. You must be earning minimum of 38,000 a year, which means that you cannot earn like 35,000, for example. Even if your job is on the list and you're earning less than 38,000, you will not be granted the work permit. So you have to necessarily fulfill all the requirements before you can actually apply. And then the last thing, you also have all the benefit like job seeking benefit, for example, if you lose your job. And also another pros which I know of Ed is that if you are being made redundant in your job, you have 6 months to look for another job, which is like super nice compared to like some other countries. Comparing to Estonia, which I'm coming from, Estonia will give you only 3 months to look for another job, otherwise you get kicked out of the country. I don't know, maybe the law has changed, but as far as I can remember it, that's what it used to be. But there's another case in which somebody that is, if your job is not on the list of the critical skills, you can actually apply for a critical skills. In this case, let's say your job title falls in a general permit, like, but if you're earning more than I think 63,000 per year, then you can actually apply for a critical skill. So that's like pretty handy. What that kind of like explains to the government is that you are valid, which means that your job is not on the list, but you are making more than enough money to kind of like support yourself, and to be able to get like 63,000 in a job that doesn't belong to the critical skills list. It means that you are a professional and you probably have been doing it for like years. So they kind of like value that kind of like professionalism, and that's why they're giving people that chance to be able to be able to like take leverage or take advantage of the critical skills in this case. And that's pretty much it. For those people that are curious on how I actually moved to Ireland, I moved using a CSCP, which is like critical skills employment permit in this case. And so far so good. I have no regret. And to be honest, I'm living fine and I'm doing great. So thank you for watching today's video. If you want me to go like into more details, like to talk about each of these category of like work permit individually, feel free to comment down in the comment section, and I will take a look at them and discuss them in more details. Thank you for watching today's video, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.